Some people don't use Skype, so I have to.
Hello?
Kenneth?
Yes.
Hi, this is Catherine from Organic News on Awake Radio. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, good evening. Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you're from Citizens for Criminal Justice.
That's right. Can I give out our contact information?
Absolutely.
That's Citizens for Criminal Justice. Our website full of great information. As we talk, I'm sitting here posting the New York Times editorial about solitary confinement, punishment for life. The website is www.citizensforcriminaljustice.net. I suggest to you, if you have any interest at all, and you should, in our criminal justice system, you should check that out. I encourage everyone to join our Facebook group page, Growing Like Crazy, although we just started it a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. That's Citizens for Criminal Justice, with justice in all caps, on Facebook, our group page. And check in periodically, make comments. You'll learn a lot, and stay in touch with people with similar interests. My name is Ken Abraham. I'm a phone call away if you have a question or a problem concerning our criminal justice system, 302-423-4067. And my email address is kenabraham3138@gmail.com. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll go over the number and your email address also at the end.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm just going to read the description for Citizens for Criminal Justice, the nonprofit corporation based in Delaware, addresses all problems with today's criminal justice system, offers solutions to those problems, and every day provides guidance to dozens of people with all manner of questions, problems about the system. Also through the Church Reentry Program, Citizens for Criminal Justice assists former prisoners on their journey back to society and counsels individuals to help them with the reentry process. Citizens for Criminal Justice has partnered with DIMH homeless shelter, and is it you that spends many hours each week helping the men there with reentry?
Yes, that's correct. I spend a lot Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings, and several other times a week I pop over there counseling the guys one-on-one. Most of them are in reentry. That's what they hired me specifically for, but I've been volunteering since I was there, and I get lots of questions from many other people too, homeless people, about all kinds of things.
Because
I do what I can.
The bottom line is most of the people in jail are not criminals. I mean, they're just...
Let me address that. It's astonishing. You know, like most people, although I practiced criminal law for 10 years, 5 as a prosecutor, 5 as a defense attorney, before I went to Florida and got into business, changed careers. I only had 2 clients go to prison, and I got them both out. You know, so I didn't know much about what goes on in prisons, like most people. Well, I found out when I screwed up big time. My story, I had nothing to hide. I'm writing a book. I give talks. I just spend 24 hours a day. I would if I didn't have to sleep, working on these issues, because when I landed in prison as a result of my wrongdoing due to cocaine, I was everything to cocaine about 8 years ago, and I do need everything. And you can't pay me enough to touch that poison today. That's the bottom line. So, and I was sentenced to prison. And when I got there and saw what goes on, this is what got me started on everything I'm doing today. It's a national disgrace. And to address your comment directly, you're quite right. You know, when we publish or put out articles about prisoners, such as the recent news item about the Pell Grants, Congress is being asked to repeal Congress, in their wisdom, years ago provided some grant money for inmates for educational purposes. Then when we had this idiotic tough on crime campaign with the war on drugs, oh boy, you don't want to get me started on that one. They did away with that. Oh, no. They're not going to prison for education. They're going to get punished. So they did away with it. Now, because research clearly shows, and every study, and I've read probably 100 of them in the last 3 years, shows that the increased education is probably, well, because they need a job and they need to support themselves, of course, the most single important factor in reassuring that people don't reoffend and reducing recidivism. Now, so keep prisoners out of that revolving door. And when we publish all these things about this article, we get people say what I just said, oh, no, they shouldn't be getting an education. Everyone there did something wrong, they deserve to be there, and they shouldn't be getting an education. The fact of the matter is, and you can't argue with the facts, and I was there for 5 years, by the way. I got a good inside look at what goes on. I should have been out in 1 year, but when some of the COs, that's corrections officers, they are a disgrace to law enforcement, and they're a disgrace to America, and they're a disgrace to their fellow law enforcement officers who go in there, the majority of them, and do the right thing. But they triggered my 5-year sentence, kept me there totally illegally for 4 years in an isolation cell.
Oh my God.
Well, it's not about what they did to me, it's about what they do to people every day and get away with it because nobody holds them accountable. Well, so we get these comments. The fact is, 2/3. There was a lady on TV last night. I was fell asleep watching the Idiot Box testifying at a Senate hearing on prison reform. And she pointed out talking about the federal system. She was in the federal system for a nonviolent drug offense. Very articulate, brilliant woman. I forget her name or what she did, but she set them straight on what it's really like in prison, such as their so-called programs and classes and courses. Most of them are a joke, just a total joke. But she just pointed out 2/3 of all the women she met in there and all federal prisoners, the fact is, are there for nonviolent drug offenses. Now, folks, if you know anything about addiction, you know that it's a health issue. It's not a criminal justice.
Right.
But we have been wasting billions and billions of your dollars, over $1 trillion tax dollars so far, your hard-earned money. You know, we think about how we spend our money usually, except when it comes time to pay taxes. We just send the money in there. Well, you ought to think about it. We've wasted over $1 trillion on the war on drugs, and it has accomplished nothing. Nothing. You can put me in any town in this country where I've never been before, and I can get whatever illegal drug I want in 20 minutes. It's a total farce. But it's employing a lot of people. We get what I call the prison industrial complex.
But that's because it's not designed. It's designed. Everything is revolved around a profit motive.
Yeah, that's right. Prosecutors have far too much power today too. The way the system has evolved. We can get into that if you'd like. But so these are health issues. They shouldn't be there in the first place. And then some of them have just inordinately crazy, wild, long sentences. I'm sure most of your listening audience is familiar with that. Life for possession of an ounce of pot. Is that justice? You know, things like that. And the mandatory minimum laws. Oh my God, what a disaster they were. When I was in private practice, it just coincidence I represented the first person in the state of Delaware. This was 80 or 81, to be charged under a mandatory minimum law for some a cocaine charge. And I could see right then and there that these things were going to be a disaster. A disaster. And the case is quite interesting, but we don't need to go into it. And what I told my colleagues and some great friends of mine who later went on to be Chief Justice and Justice of the Supreme Court, some of the best and brightest lawyers and people that I know, they said, well, no, Ken, we need to get tough on crime, just like most people, you know. Now, these were the days when the Colombian cowboys, as they were called, drug dealers in Miami, were killing federal agents in the streets, you know. It was wild. But the answer was not the solution that we provided. So you see, I'm a retired attorney, prosecutor, defense attorney, teacher, entrepreneur. I sold businesses for 4 years, got a real estate license, was a broker, called Delaware, niche selling businesses. That was in Florida. Excuse me. Teacher and taught part-time at some local colleges, criminal justice procedure, criminal justice, substantive law, business law, and I'm a retired drug addict in prison. I'm uniquely prepared to address these problems that we're working on today. And I'm glad to say we're making a little progress. It's slow, and there's a mountain to move, but there's so much more to get done. It'll happen because it makes sense, but it's quite a chore, I assure you. So I'm glad to be doing what I do. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to mention New York Times Science. There's a video about the effects of solitary confinement. I watch a lot of this stuff because, again, I was a psych major and studied a lot about post-traumatic stress and just what...
Yes. I've been diagnosed with PTSD from what they did to me.
And
I have nightmares still.
I don't know if you were listening to the guest just before you. You might have been, when the podcast is finished, you might want to listen to it because he's doing a movie on MDMA and how it heals post-traumatic stress. And I did a show on it once before with one of the doctors from the institute that's doing the studies on this stuff. And there's a documentary called Neurons to Nirvana that talks about it, if you want to look that up.
Okay, thanks. No, I'll make it a point to do that, to listen to it. Thank you. I did not listen to it. I've just been swamped with so much work to do.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Solitary confinement. That's where you're locked up in a cage about 8 feet by 13 if you're lucky. Some are smaller. Just concrete and cement. And steel stool, a little shelf for a desk area, and a toilet, and a little sink. 24 hours a day. You get out 3 times a week for up to an hour. Depends what guard's on duty, whether they feel like letting you out and for how long. To take a shower and to walk around the yard, which, by the way, when you're in solitary, is enclosed is a concrete slab with, fencing around it with barbed wire at the top. And that's it. And you can't take any classes or courses. You're there on your own. You can request things from the law library. Thank God I did legal research from before the sun went down till after. Just before the sun went up, till after it went down every day. Although they denied many of my requests, I got enough information and materials to be able to say today that I dare say I know as much about prison issues, civil rights issues as they relate to prisoners, probation, criminal law, criminal post-conviction relief, criminal procedure, the whole 9 yards, prison abuse, as any lawyer on the planet. And it's totally unnecessary. There are some people, mind you, in there who, listen, I was a prosecutor. I dealt with victims every day. And there are people in prison, no doubt, who should never get out. And there are people in prison who cannot be among the general population. They must be in some sort of isolation. But maybe 1/5 at the most of the over 80,000 inmates in isolation cells today belong there or should be there for any legitimate reason. You look funny at a guard, they'll make up a false report. It's called a disciplinary report. Oh boy, don't get me started. These are law enforcement officers, mind you. Why are they crazy? They do nothing. They not file false reports. That's a crime in itself, by the way. You do it. Go down to the police department, file a false report, and find out who'll get charged with that. There's a couple other charges. If they love to stack them on, you can get into that too. It's another pernicious aspect of today's system. And go to isolation for 90 days, 4 years, 3 months. Some people have been there for decades. Of course, it has a harmful effect, bound to wear you down. And here's one reason why we should care about what goes on. We need a spotlight on prison abuse today, just as we finally have a spotlight on police abuse. With the advent of video cameras, and if it weren't for the video cameras, most of these cases would never have come to light. The truth probably would never have been known because they're lying like hell to cover up the wrongdoers. We need a spotlight on prison abuse, and here's why. 96% of all prisoners are getting out. They're coming home, they're moving into communities, they could be your neighbor. 96% of them. When we help those coming out in reentry, we accomplish so much. We help ourselves, we help our communities.
Exactly.
Now, the ones who want to help themselves, and most do, whether you think so or believe so or not, many, over half of all prisoners in America, generally speaking. So the federal system is only 15% of our prisoners. The rest is the state prisons. And over half are there for nonviolent drug offenses. Think about for years, decades in prison. It's a fantastic waste of money and resources. That's, I said, I am so fortunate to have lived through the time when the criminal justice system worked well. And by that I mean, when I was practicing law, 1973 to 83, every day, 5 years as a prosecutor, I was in court 4 out of 5, in file, trial courtroom, having the file on an average 4 of the 5 days of the week. Not today. 95% of all felony cases end in guilty plea. 20 minutes, wham, bam, you're done. For many reasons. I'll be glad to explain why. It all goes back to the war on drugs. You cannot name a problem in America's criminal justice system today that is not caused by the root cause of it was the war on drugs. So when it worked well, and by that I mean justice almost always was the result. We weren't locking up guilty people. Today, okay, let me just, I have so many facts and figures in my head from the information that I have learned over the last 8 or so years, most of it in the last 3 since I've been out and bombarded with. Now that people know what I do, all sorts of articles and interesting facts. How bad is our criminal justice system? Well, here's one indication of how dysfunctional it is. We are convicting and imprisoning innocent people by the thousands. The ones that we are seeing an exoneration, and we have for the last couple of years, people getting out at a rate of 2 or 3 per week. Now, this is the tip of the iceberg. These are the ones who are fortunate enough that DNA, irrefutable scientific evidence shows they didn't do the crime. So they eventually, with much argument sometimes because some prosecutors have their heads so far up their rears that they actually oppose these motions for release. Can you believe it? We're innocent, the DNA shows it, and the prosecutor opposes it. What a power-crazy, idiotic prosecutor that is. So that's the tip of the iceberg. There are thousands more. If those are the numbers on them, how many more thousand innocent people languish in prison? It's just a disaster. It's a disaster. That's the worst thing the criminal justice system can do, and we're doing it every day. As a prosecutor, I was very conscious of the possibility. I learned very fast, within a week or two, I learned that, eyewitness identity. There are many reasons for wrongful convictions, all going back to the war on drugs. The bottom line is that the war on drugs has flooded the courts with so many cases, such a case overload, that nobody has time to do anything right. Not the cops investigating the case initially, not the prosecutor, not the judge, not the defense attorney. And the result is a disaster. Manifest injustice across the board. Terrible. And eyewitness identification is far from reliable. You can hear somebody under oath on the stand, brutally raped and beaten and raped, sitting there crying, telling their story. You tend to believe them, but there's plenty of room for mistakes. Now, with a good trial lawyer, those mistakes can come out. The system works great when it works. The courtroom and the trial process are designed to elicit the truth. That's what it's all about, and they do when put through the crucible of a trial. They do. Works very, very, very well. The truth sounds come out. This is assuming that you have good, well-prepared attorneys on both sides. It works, but not anymore. As I said, 95% are so overloaded that the only way to deal with the criminal caseload, and I can give you some statistics if you like, no human being on earth could give these cases the attention they need in the course of a year. The number of cases of each judge, and I don't care what state you're in or what court you're in. Family court, it's a spillover. They're all swamped with the number of cases that they have to decide every year.
Right.
So if you're prosecutors soon found out that if they stack the charges, you think about it. You read about somebody being arrested. These things are in the newspaper every day. Typically a drug arrest. Somebody's charged with 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 charges. Why? They're never charged. Rarely, once in a blue moon, is somebody charged with one charge. But they stack up the charges because in a part of our so-called tough on crime campaign, it's time, folks, to get smart on crime, not tough on crime. Smart on crime.
Well, the thing
in the mid-90s, Delaware in 1993, most states passed what they call, some call a different name, the Truth in Sentencing Act, which means, among other things, if you are convicted of more than one offense, the time served must be consecutive, one back to back, one after the other. Before then, there was such thing called as concurrent sentencing. So if somebody happened to be convicted of more than one offense, they got 2 years for one, 3 years for the other, it could be concurrent. So the judge could order concurrent sentencing, which means you're out in 3 years, and for the rest of good time. Not anymore. So the prosecutors took full advantage of this. They stacked the charges. The pressure is on. Every day, I get phone calls, emails, inquiries, Facebook inquiries, you name it, from people all over the country today, all over the world for that matter. And every day, I will hear someone say he was forced to plead guilty, or she was forced to plead guilty. Sure they are. You're looking at a situation where if you take the chances to go to trial, and if you have the public defender, you get or not, because the key to being successful, which, thank you, Lord, I always was, the key is being well prepared. There's no substitute for being prepared. The public defenders who are appointed to represent indigent people, they don't have time to fart, much less be prepared due to their caseload. So if you're convicted, you're looking at an ungodly long sentence. A negotiation. Wham, bam, 15 minutes, you're done, you pled, and good luck, you'll never get the plea undone. And then, there's another problem. Plea agreement is an agreement between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. Okay, of these 18 charges, my client agrees to plead to one, conspiracy, and the state of the prosecutor agreed that the sentence should be no more than 5 years. So take this to the judge. The judge says very carefully on the record to ask you a lot of questions when you prove, so that when you come back to undo it, they just point to that and say, oh no, you understood everything, you're toast. Although most defendants don't understand anything, they're panicked, they're stressed out, they don't understand the process, and they just say yes, yes, yes to get it over with. One of the questions, do you understand? You waive your right to trial, you waive your right to cross-examine witnesses. You understand I can sentence you, although this is the agreement, I'm not bound by it. I can sentence you to anything up to the maximum allowed by law. Yes, Your Honor. You initial that on the form. And then, despite the plea agreement, and despite what might make sense from a justice standpoint, what is justice? It's not complicated. It's debatable in certain cases as to what might be the right outcome, but it's what's fair. That's all we're trying to do, is do what's fair. You do the crime, you do the time, and you should.
So
but not in a system where inmates are raped, abused, slaved for no reason, thrown in isolation cell for years.
Oh my God.
But it should be justice.
It's like so the whole criminal...
They written 5 years and the prosecutor Anderson for 20. That's crazy.
So let me just get your take then on, I just bring up Eric Garner again because the 1 year anniversary just passed.
Yeah,
and meanwhile, the guy that took the video's already been arrested 3 times in retaliation for taking the video. And the cop that, they clearly murdered this guy on the video.
That's correct. That's correct. And if the prosecutors and the judges who refuse to, I'm working on my first book. God willing, I'll live long enough to write 2. It's going to take at least another year before it's published. I thought what I did was I named names and boy, I blessed some judges. Just as bad as what goes on in our prison or in the streets with Eric Garner, it's a massive indifference to it, and it's a massive mistake. The prosecutors and judges need to take their heads out of the sand and prosecute these people who commit these crimes, and that's totally what they are. If you did to anybody what that officer did to Eric Garner, you people can have life for murder. They need to be prosecuted. And by the way, prosecution is the only effective deterrent. Talking about prison guards, police officers, because if you sue them for the wrongdoing, well, yeah, you can sue them. And if you can afford an attorney, you might actually get your day in court. There's no assurance of that. But most people can't. Can't. And good luck. The opposite side, the state has lawyers who specialize in making these cases go away. Law is complicated. They file motion after motion. The chances are literally 1 in 1,000 that you'll ever get to court. The chances from there are 1 in 1,000 that you'll win. And even if you win, and you get a money award, you get 30,000 or 500,000 or whatever for the abuse done to you, the state pays that, not the individual officer or guard involved.
Right.
So they don't care. And given the state's budget, that's a drop in the bucket, so they don't care. But it's your hard-earned tax money that remind you again that it's costing billions of dollars with prison inmate litigation suits out the wazoo. Somebody's got to pay for all these federal, and most of them are in the federal court, the federal claim under Title 42, Section 1983 of the Federal Code for prison abuse. There are thousands of cases filed every day, every year in this country, thousands upon thousands. And prosecutors, the court staff, everybody has defense attorneys, everybody has to deal with it. It's costing you a fortune. Most of them are completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. The judges studiously misstate the facts and ignore the law to make these cases go away. These are people, I know some of these judges personally. Others I know by reputation. My client, my friends who deal with them every day. These are otherwise good judges. They will just, I don't think they'll ever read these cases. They walk like what's out and says, here's another way, here's another one, here's the one-page order dismissing it. It's just outrageous. And we should care. Here's one major reason why. You just get it real quick. There are many. 96% are coming in. As I said, I was in there for 5 years. Imagine, you're a prisoner, you're locked up for stealing a loaf of bread, or punching somebody when you got angry, whatever the charge is. You're in there every day, and you see law enforcement officers, guards, committing crime after crime after crime. Stealing property. They steal coffee, sneakers, writing materials, whatever they want, radio, on a routine basis. Making up false reports, lying about it, straying people for no reason, physically abusing people for no reason. And you see them do this day for day, after day after day, and getting away with it, you get angry. Yeah. There are many who come in there, I call them hot-headed young punks, angry at the world, mad at the world, they're never going to change. There are many, many others. Today, the majority of them are ordinary people who did something stupid or got caught up with addiction. That's the fact. They see all this. You develop an abiding, deep, very subtle but very profound hatred and resentment of law enforcement. And we had a case here in Delaware. That's a typical example. These two guys, this was about 2 years ago, came out of prison. They were arrested for at night riding around in an SUV, firing from a rifle into the homes. Anywhere where they saw a police car parked in the driveway. They did it in Delaware, they did it in Maryland. They're doing time in one state, I forget which one tried it first. Why? Because when they see them on the rafts by the press, one of them said, well, when they came out of prison, they were mad at law enforcement. I can understand why. He's shooting into homes the right thing to do? Well, of course not. But this is what happens. Think about it. And it's quite a natural effect.
Well, that's
we shouldn't be tolerating it. My point is so simple. This country used to be revered around the world for the rule of law. Everything's done according to the law. Nobody's above the law. Look at Watergate. What a tremendous example of that principle that case was. Nobody's above the law. Not the president, not police, not prison guards, not judges, not prosecutors.
Well, that's the opposite. That's the opposite. Yeah, that's the opposite of being an authority. I mean, authority is not supposed to be someone that abuses laws. But
imagine, you get a mean-spirited, very tight mentality, which some of these people are, police officer or prison guard. You put them in an environment where they have complete control over the victim.
Of course.
The CEOs in prison, the nurse and the police standing there with a gun in his hip, on his hip or in your face. You're at their mercy. They can do whatever they want with you, take you here, take you there, handcuff you.
I say the same thing about the family system.
And getting away with it day after day, what are they going to do? Right. They're going to continue to do it.
Right.
We need to hold them accountable.
So that's exactly what we have to do. Kenneth, Abraham, we're running out of time. So again, give the information on how people can get in touch with Citizens for Criminal Justice.
Sure, thank you. Please go on our Facebook group page. Click on there. I got to click you in, but delighted to do so. Citizens for Criminal Justice with Justice all in capital letters on Facebook. Lots of interesting articles posted there. Check in periodically. Check it out. Participate. Participate. Do it on our website, www.citizensforcriminaljustice.net. Every week I put many interesting articles on there, a few comments of my own, loaded with good practical information, solutions and problems with the system. Or if you have a personal problem, you can call me at 302-423-4067. And again, my email address, ABRAHAM, 3138 @gmail.com.
Thank you so much, Kenneth Abraham.
Thank you. I hope to be back sometime. There's so much more to cover. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll have a longer show the next time.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay.
Make it a great day. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me?
I mean, we're a little bit past the time.
Okay.
So we'll have to have you back on for a whole hour the next time.
Okay, fine. You just let me know. Can I get a link to this segment, by the way, when you get a chance, please?
Sure could.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye.